We live. We live. We live right now. Today is a time in November, I think 18th, 19th, 20, something like that. 2024. The year's almost done. So, what's today's topic? What are we going to be talking about, my friend? Today, I thought about it, went back and forth, but I think it's time. I will put it on the screen. I have this image of me a long time ago, and I had all the coffee gear in the world. My hands were just so large, and I was just showing people like my coffee gear and all that stuff. But as of today, 2024, I don't have one particular gear. I don't have a couple, actually. I don't have my 10 cup Chemex. I think there's some other stuff I gave away too. Some old espresso accessories. I did have another espresso machine, but it was crap. I had to give it back to my friend. I was like, no, this is not going to work. But instead of my Olympia Cremina, I am going to keep that to the day I die. Give it to my kids or something. That Hario V60s, of course. But the one that we're talking about today is the Siphon coffee maker. I don't know if it's just called the Siphon or whatnot, but yeah, don't have that anymore. I think I gave it to the same friend. I got like more so like a cheaper one. It was glass, but it seemed like it was a little finicky. I took really good care of it. It collected a lot of dust. But the reason why I want to bring that up is we're going to be talking about coffee gear of the past, of the old. Why, if you don't use it, or if you're thinking about getting it, this is just one point of view of the idea of why you shouldn't get the Siphon coffee maker. Get a little closer to you. So here's the thing. Back in the day, I got everything. I got every little thing that you can think of. And one of the things that I wanted to get that was on my radar was the Siphon coffee maker. It looked cool, science experiment, geeking out because I'm an engineer too. And I was curious to see what kind of coffee it actually produced. I was really, still am, about the whole filter type of brewing method, pour over. And I wanted to see if it was going to really like transform the coffee even more than the stuff that I was using. I kept going down this rabbit hole, we all have gone deep into the rabbit hole, and the rabbit holes has many different holes in it. And as you keep going, you're still trying to like discover like the holy grail coffee maker, right? Don't get me wrong, my Hario V60s, that's my thing, right? I'm sure that's your thing too, perhaps. But we always are wondering if coffee can taste even better, that same coffee on another device. So I went deep into that rabbit hole of trying to discover another brewing device. And I saw it and it was cool. And you've probably gone through this too, to the point to where you're like, wait. So you have to do this and then do that. And you have to turn the temperature up, then turn it down. And then it like does this crazy thing where it like, you take it off the heat or you turn the temperature down, it brews the coffee and then you're done. Then it has a cool serving vessel that's attached to it. And I did that. I did that for a while. I didn't do it during the week. I mainly did that over the weekend because this was a lot of work. I think that's part of the situation I want to talk about is that it was a lot of work to just get a cup of coffee. Of course, there's different techniques. You use either the cloth little paper filter that they come with, or you buy. Some of them had different ways, or metal filter or whatnot. Don't get me wrong, the cups were clean, but they weren't much or more so the same as the other brewers that I was using. It was a lot of work. And of course, you went back and forth of like, okay, how much am I going to make this time? Am I going to make a lot of coffee? And then you start thinking, it's like, man, it's a lot of work just for a sip or two. I mean, it wasn't a sip or two, it was a whole cup of coffee. But I think that's the point. When we are like living and doing our thing and have our rituals and all that good stuff, right? We tend to like things. We don't mind a challenge, I don't think, but it's hard to truly, really decipher how much work we're really trying to put into this coffee thing, because this is not the only thing that we have to do, right? We have to make coffee. We enjoy coffee. We drink coffee. We have to put on our pants, probably use the restroom, brush our teeth, make our beds. If you get out the bed early enough, you probably don't have to do that. We have to probably watch a couple YouTube videos. And then we go into work. We have to do work there. And then we drive home. And then we make dinner. I guess you're understanding what I'm saying. I'm not saying that we don't like, or me. Let me just talk about me. I don't know about you, but I don't see people talking about the Siphon. So that's what I said. That's why I say we much anymore, because it was a fad. It was a cool device. It was an interesting way of extracting flavor from coffee. When you really think about the nuts and bolts of the thing, is that it did what it needed to. It gave you a more type of curiosity to coffee, or what coffee can be. But as you do things and you start to develop your own habits, because we are creatures of habits, right? And we start to realize is that, wait, you stop doing that. You stop trying to see what something is, or you've already tried it before. I guess the reward of the whole thing wasn't even worth it. Because you didn't, let me say because I stopped seeing the magicalness of the whole damn thing. It wasn't magical anymore. It was just gimmicky, and it took a long time. And the coffees from even the AeroPress or the Harvey 60, they tasted fine. They tasted great. They tasted good. And it only took a couple of minutes. And I think that's part of it. We like rituals. We like our morning rituals. But the thought of it it's just a lot of work. And the reward of it is nothing compared to anything. Because don't get me wrong, there's things that we do in coffee, at least for me. I'm sure you probably go through this if you're an espresso person, is that you do espresso. And I mainly do espresso over the weekend. And when I do espresso, it is a process. I don't do it all the time, but the reward is a lot better. It's a lot more something I look forward to, because I know that it's going to truly, really transform the coffee to something that I can't do with any other brewer, even though I don't care for espresso like I do for other stuff. But yeah, it gives you a unique, different perspective of what coffee is and what coffee can be, and all the different things that you can do with espresso, different drinks, water, drink it really strong, do different shots of it. There's so many different variations that you can do with espresso that gives you that, like that, working to that goal of making a cup of coffee. It's like a journey. It really, truly is. It's a journey that we're willing to go down, either each and every day, over the weekend a couple of times. So those are some of the stuff that we think about. Those are some of the things that I truly think about when I'm really like just sitting here like, why did I stop using a particular coffee gear? We all go through it. I use the Hardy V60 about 80-90% of the time. Just to change it up, sometimes I'll probably use the April brewer, but I could put the same filter in the Hardy V60. I can play around with other little gadgets here and there just to kind of change it up. French press, AeroPress, all that good stuff, right? But I guess what I'm saying is that there's a lot of work and there's not that much reward on the other end. Then really, what are we doing here? It's not like a crisis or anything. It's just something that I'm thinking about. Things that I wonder why I stopped using a particular coffee gear. And it's not a rag or hate or anything towards this particular coffee device. I used it. It was fun for the time. Then after a while, I was just collecting dust. I know people may say, well, what about the percolator? You say you like the percolator. I do. But guess what? I put everything together. I put the stove on. I wait about 15-20 minutes. Put a timer on. The coffees are great. There's not that much work for me. The siphon, you have to like look at it and pay attention and play around with the dial and just totally be 100% committed. And the thing again is that what was the outcome? What was the thing that you're getting out of that particular coffee or coffee in general? Really wasn't anything to me. I dare you try a siphon cup. You may have to pay like $20 or so if somebody still does the siphon in some coffee shop or whatnot. But get a siphon coffee. See the magicalness of putting in the grounds and turning up the temperature and tempering with it. And then after a while, letting it brew for however long you need it to. And then just seeing the coffee come out. And then when you take that first sip of that coffee, truly, really be honest and ask yourself if this coffee is magical. Did this device really make this coffee better? You won't really know because this is the only coffee that you're trying from this device. You're not comparing it with other things because you're probably drinking it out somewhere. But truly just be honest with yourself and be like, was that good? Was that magical? And it doesn't have to be magical all the time. That's not what I'm saying. If you put in a lot of the work in order to do this ritual, to understand what extraction and what type of flavors that you want out of this particular coffee, and it falls flat, literally falls flat, then you're wasting your time. We don't want to waste our time anymore. We want to be able to truly, really enjoy coffee all the time. From your favorite roasters or even me. But you go about it in a way to where you love coffee. We all are. And I think the biggest thing before I go ahead and end off for today is that we are creatures of habit. That's what we're doing here. We are creatures of habit. We do things in a way to where even though we may change things in our lives for whatever reasons, we're going to also not do that thing or do less of it. We're going to do more so the thing that we always do. We may have some little variations of what we do in our lives. You know, each day is more so the same, but it's a little different because of the situation, the circumstances, the things that we're dealing with in our lives. But at the end of the day, I need to stop saying that, but I say it all the time. But at the end of the day, if something is that much effort to make a okay subpar coffee? Yeah, I said it. Fuck that. Why would you want to do that? You don't want to do that. Again, I could spend 3 minutes with the pour over device and be perfectly happy. And I think that's how you are too. Or you're not, just let me know. Send me some comments, whatnot. Let me know what you think about the Siphon coffee maker. If you used it, have you used it before? Have you had coffee from it? Were you really surprised or excited about what you were drinking after the whole spectacle was over? The whole science experiment was over? Did you really, truly feel happy that you spent this money or you took all this time in order to drink this coffee? Because I don't think it's coming back. I don't think it is. Yeah, there's other brewers out here that claim to, produce this different type of textured coffee and all that good stuff. But if you're honest with yourself and the coffee just is okay, you don't have to do that. Fuck that. Just do the things that you like to do. Figure it out. Enjoy your cup of coffee. Discover new beans, old beans. Give yourself challenges and go on with the rest of your day. Because you got that to live, right? So that's what I got for you. Let me know what you think. I'll talk to you later. Bye. This is Oki, Everyday Beans, signing out.